Suzanne's Paparazzi Jewelry, 24/7 shopping available. 160920 is the code. Show her some love, like she showed us. K&A Custom Crafts on Facebook.
Welcome to Coast Entertainment Network. That's right, I am Ace. My Atlanta Braves just won the 2021 World Series. We are World Series champions. We are here to celebrate this awesome championship tonight. And don't also forget, we're also here to give Isaiah Leong a little bit of roasting tonight. And we have to, because if I completely remember, this goes back before the playoffs even started. Isaiah even mentioned that Philadelphia was going to go into Atlanta, was going to go into ATL, sweep the Atlanta Braves, and take their P and put it right on our Truist Field Park. So let me ask you, Isaiah, how did that fare for you? Atlanta is now world freaking champions. And what was with Isaiah going in the group chat and saying "Go Braves" late in the eighth inning? I don't understand that. Callan, you go ahead and take this over, my man.
Where we literally have video proof of him saying "H-Town stand up" in a Astro shirt from June, but we'll bring that up eventually. But Adam, I say congratulations to you and our man Shri Anand over on MI6. Long time coming for the Braves. And it's funny. Me and my dad were talking about this during the ninth inning. And I said, here the Braves have always been this franchise, guys, who had so much, regular season success, but they always found a way to get stopped short of winning the title minus 95. And they re-showed the final out of Marquise Grissom Sr. making that catch. And you saw John Smoltz in the super long 90s era hair. And I said, oh my goodness, there's Fred McGriff. Gee whiz, a Padre winning a World Series somewhere else. But, and for one thing, I've always loved watching Atlanta. And I think even more so recently with how them and the Padres play the game the same exact way of kind of in a way, with that chip on their shoulder and the confidence and the swagger, especially when you have, Ronald Acuna Jr. before he got hurt. And then I think about, guys, that every championship ball club in sports, say congratulations, always has to go through some type of that all the teams go through adversity and go through good stretches and bad stretches. And I think about the Braves of this season in a very lackluster division where, again, the Phillies, they were great. Then they fizzled out. The Marlins, up and down, more so down. The Nationals, up and down, trading away a lot of their star players. Then the Braves, and with Freddie Freeman and, Dansby Swanson and all these guys. And then, I think so much about the Braves, though, guys. And this goes back to previous season, I think, when Freddie Freeman announced he had COVID. And I remember him, I think giving an interview or an E60 special where he's like, I feared for my life. I was in the hospital. I was not doing well. And, that he really feared that he was going to pass, that he was going to die from this illness. And that's kind of one thing. Then you go through the season where, again, this division was so bad, where the Mets didn't want it. The Braves didn't want it. The Phillies didn't want it. The Nats and Marlins didn't want it either. And then, obviously, when you remember or hear about Ronald Acuna Jr. going down with that injury, you're thinking, oh, great, now the Braves are really done because he's their spark plug. He's their guy. And then somehow, some way, though, guys, Alex Anthopoulos is able to work this out, though, with getting Jorge Soler and getting Eddie Rosario, who was hurt, and basically retooling the whole outfield at the deadline. Jock Peterson coming, the first big domino that fell at the trade deadline. Then, of course, with with Eddie Rosario and his, rise into prominence in the LCS against the Dodgers this season. And then even Adam Duvall, him, with that grand slam early in Game 5. I know they end up losing the game, though. And then, Stone Cold Austin Riley, he becomes a postseason hero. Rosario, I think he hit it felt like he hit 500 for the LCS. The guy was a hitting machine. And then the pitching staff enduring their own issues with Mike Soroka getting injured again in a freak accident after, just getting up off of a chair, and he rips his Achilles again. And, with all their issues, with Ian Anderson being up and down and Max Fried kind of being up and down and Brian Snitker, guys, I feel the two guys I feel the most happiest for on this Braves ball club is obviously Freddie Freeman, you know, a down-to-earth guy, well-liked and respected by, I think, fan bases across the country. And especially, you know, for me, though, the personal knockdown comeback story of, you know, the COVID issues and him fearful of passing and all the stuff he had to go through with that. And obviously Brian Snitker, you know, a guy who I think has been in this organization for over 40 years and was only a part of that one team in 95. And, you know, I think we all know the Braves of being that team of the 90s who always would win the division title, always got into the postseason, but would fall in the DS or in the CS. Sorry, Adam, for 98. But then again, we didn't win the damn thing over the Yankees in 98. But even that underdog Padre team happened to knock out a 106-win Braves team that year after beating a 102-win Houston team. That's, you just had it just to kind of, you know, compare and contrast, though. And then even through the 2000s, they were always competitive, always in the mix, and still finding a way to get, could never, you know, finish off the job when it counted most, though. And then, you know, and also I feel great for the sports fans in Atlanta. You know, here's a city, guys, you know, who minus Major League Soccer in 2018 had not won a pro title in any sport since 95 when the Braves last won. The Falcons were close, but again, 28-3 happens. The NHL comes and goes 2 different times with the Flames and then the Thrashers leaving. And then MLS comes and people are like, this isn't going to work in Atlanta. And yet they still draw 70,000 people at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. They win the championship in 2018. And now that the Braves are back on top, it's almost as if, you know, sports are somewhat back in a way down in Atlanta. Again, they have that, you know, beautiful new ballpark down there in Cumberland and the whole district, you know, the people watching the game on the field today or outside the ballpark. And certainly, you know, good times for Atlanta. And again, if there's one city out there I'm happy to see back on top in baseball, it's Atlanta. Again, all the young stars, all the swag and the children they play with. And again, Brian Snitker, who's traveled the road and back with that organization. And I think as well, though, fitting, I think, that the Braves win the whole thing, too, in wake of course, guys, them losing Hank Aaron over the offseason or during the season and his passing. I certainly felt like Hank's presence was with this ball club as the season went on and as the postseason went on, as the World Series went on. I think just having Hank's number out there in center field all season long, you know, I kind of felt like Hank was there for the Brewers and for the Braves this season. And, you know, also, you know, Jorge Soler making history with the first ever leadoff home run in a World Series game. So, you know, when it came down to getting the job done, the Braves, you know, had not been there for a while. And I think that with the Astros, you know, just kind of get to them real quick, is that it's almost like, you know, postseason fatigue kind of finally kicked in for Houston. You know, a lot of times, guys, I'm sure you guys know this very well, though, but a lot of times, though, the toll that long seasons take on you when you play so often in the playoffs, it does get to you eventually. I mean, I think that's probably one other factor why the Braves had fizzled up so many times. So they did all that work to get there, but then arms were sore, guys were beat up, banged up, shoot up, and spit out. And that, at least with the Astros, I feel like, though, yeah, they got there again, though, but I think it's just the fatigue factor of getting there. And maybe this falls on Dusty Baker for, you know, like the third time or second time he's been in the World Series. He can't finish off a job as a skipper. Who knows what really happens there. But in all seriousness, again, you know, congrats to the Braves. I think it's their third or fourth world title in franchise history, dating back to their days in Boston and in Milwaukee, then to Atlanta. And again, Adam and Shri, you know, happy for you guys. And also happy for the National League that the World Championship is back where it rightfully belongs in the NL. Square 4, you be quiet. Back over to you guys.
Yeah. So this is interesting because somebody just and I don't know what they mean by this. So maybe somebody can clarify this. But somebody actually put a post that said Braves championship is a joke and it should be marked as a asterisk. And I'm like, for what reason? I don't understand. What did we do that constituted anything of marking this championship as an asterisk? I
have one valid reason. Square Four is going to say it's corruption, and I also have I also have a feeling it's a salty Dodger fan who lost to the Braves in the CS, or a salty Phillies fan like Square Four is, who will also, you know, call foul for this because, you know, they swept the Phillies in the final series of the year to win the division title. So, you know, if anything, if you're going to go that route, and I for one don't put asterisks on that sort of thing. It's just more of a thing for the average Joe or average sports fan at a bar to just, you know, drum up conversation and maybe start a fight in the bar between two rival fan bases. But to me, you know, last year's legitimate. It happened. If there was no season last year, then you can say that there was, you know, it would say no champion decided. because of COVID-19 or because of ongoing public health crisis. This was a full season, everything, this was a regular year, like we forget about last season. So salty Phillies fan, salty Dodger fan, going to claim corruption in Square 4. So I don't know. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, who knows? But I will say one thing about Alex Anthopoulos that I give credit to, because you were talking about the NL East, how basically every team throughout the whole season was pretty much up and down. When it came around to the All-Star break and the trade deadline, we were under 500 at that point. So Alex at that point could have been like, you know what, we're just going to throw it in, we're going to call it, and we're not going to try. But he tried, and he went out and got the pieces he need, brought them in, and did a fantastic job. He could have just said, no, it's over. We're just going to pack it in and wait for next year. But he didn't, and I gave him all the credit for that. So, Big B, I'm going to go to you. What's your thoughts on this?
Well, 25 years in the making. 95 was the last one. They did good. I think this is honestly the first year I rooted for a National League team to win it. I didn't like the Astros. Didn't really want the Braves to do it, but somebody had to come out on top, so I put my money with the Braves, and glad that they did it after so long. Glad they did it for Hank Aaron and Phil Niekro, who passed away this year. Got to see John Smoltz. I don't know how he kept cool in the press box calling the game, because I don't think I could, watching my team on the verge of winning it, but congrats to all the Braves fans. I know I gave them heck all year, saying Will Smith was the MVP, the GOAT of that team, and, throwing jabs out there. But, Braves are the team to beat now.
You know what, though? There was actually somebody who called it, and it wasn't on here, but it was actually, I believe it was Pedro Martinez right before the playoffs hit. And because I was like the biggest doubter of Will Smith. I said, man, this guy's a closer's a joke. He's not going to do anything. And then Pedro Martinez is the one that said, you know what? But I guarantee when the playoffs start, Will Smith will be ready, and he will come out and he will be just fine in the playoffs. And he was just fine. He did not show anything of any type of way that he pitched in the regular season to scare us. It seemed like every single night he was called upon, he came out and pitched well and didn't make it interesting like he did in the regular season. So he was definitely ready.
2 wins, 6 saves in the playoffs.
Yeah, he had 6 saves. He was 6 for 6 in the playoffs. So he did everything he was called upon for. And I know yesterday, fans were kind of upset with how Snitker ended up calling that game. But I'm telling you, he made the right call. And the only reason I'm saying that is simply because our bullpen prior to this game had been worked so much. They had pitched every single night. And Snitker's like, you know what? Even if we are winning, I cannot bring out Matzik. I cannot bring out Jackson. I cannot bring out Smith. They need a night off. If we go to a game 6, they're not going to be able to pitch. And he knew that. So he said, you know what? All we need is one more. And he knew that. We had 3 games to win one more, and he knew it. And he said, if we have to lose a game to win one, it is what it is. But I cannot afford to lose 3 in a row by wearing out my bullpen. So he absolutely made the right decision by using the guys he did yesterday. Even though we lost, it was still fine. He made the right decision. So Isaiah, I know what you're going to say. But this comes to you, even though you were going for the Houston Astros for some reason. I'm not even really sure, because as being an Oakland A's fan, how can you root for the freaking Houston Astros?
Well, first of all, let's get something straight. Number one, I did not root for anybody in this World Series. I did not even watch this World Series, because this World Series was basically the baseball gods handing down a screw you Isaiah World Series, because you had the Braves, who I said that my Phillies were going to go into Atlanta in the final week of September and plant our P flag on the baseball field down there at Truist Park. and we would sweep the Braves and make the playoffs and win the division. And who knows, maybe at that point my Phillies would win the World Series at that point if they got in. And then you had the Houston Astros, who I work for the Oakland A's. I bleed green and gold. There's absolutely no way whatsoever that I'm rooting for the Houston Astros. And for some reason, I don't know how, in this World Series, I was rooting for the Dodgers. I never root for the Dodgers. I was rooting for the Dodgers because I was like, come on.
One team you don't root for.
I need one team. I need one team that I can actually cheer for in this World Series. Because if it's Braves and Astros, I'm basically in a lose-lose situation. Since if the Braves win, Adam and J-Mac won't be able to give me. I mean, will keep getting me crap about how I talked all that trash about how the Braves were going to get swept and blah blah blah. And then if the Astros are in, then it's like, yeah, I'm not rooting for them as well. So this was basically a screw you, Isaiah World Series, but. Ace and J-Mac, if you're watching, and Shri, if you're watching, feel free to hop on, by the way. First of all, congratulations to your Atlanta Braves. It's been a long time coming, I believe 25 years in the making for your Atlanta Braves. I'm very impressed by the Braves because I'm probably one of the many people out there that when the Braves lost Acuna, they lost I forgot the other guy's name that they lost towards Achilles.
Mike Soroka?
Soroka, right. Soroka. They had all these
literally
injuries.
just said his name about
Yeah,
10
they had
minutes
all
ago.
the injuries and all the COVID issues and stuff like that. I was like, there's no way. There's no way the Braves are going to even make the playoffs. They're not even going to win the division. You might as well just sell everything. And I think there was an episode of Sportsman, and when we found out that Acuna had torn his ACL that Saturday night, and you guys were talking about the Acuna injury, and I remember I commented saying the Braves are done. The Braves might as well just sell everybody, trade Freddie Freeman because he's going to be a free agent after the season. You could do like what the Yankees did with Aroldis Chapman, where you trade Chapman, he goes, wins a ring, and then he re-signs. You can do that. Go get some prospects back. I said that there's no chance whatsoever that the Braves are going to win or make the playoffs, much less win the World Series. And it was a very impressive job done by Alex Anthopoulos. Getting all the pieces, Jock Peterson, Soler, Eddie Rosario. The Cleveland Indians should be absolutely ashamed of themselves for trading Rosario and only getting very, very little in return. I don't know how you're able to do that. They might as well name me the general manager of the Cleveland now Guardians because I can run a better job than Mark Shapiro is doing down there in Cleveland. But it's not Mark Shapiro, my bad. He's the Blue Jays GM. But congratulations to the Braves. Great win for you and your Atlanta Braves ace. I'm sorry for all the smack that I talked about how the Phillies were going to go into the ATL and plant our P flag and we're going to win the division and all that stuff. I'm sorry about that. That was a stupid thing to say because I guarantee you the Braves watched our show that night and said, yeah, we got to prove this guy wrong. And, my words ended up helping the Braves go on this massive hot streak and ultimately winning the World Series. So congratulations, Ace and J-Mac.
So Isaiah has lost the World Series. He has lost the NBA Finals this season. He lost the Super Bowl when KC beat San Francisco last, a couple years ago. And the Sharks haven't won a Stanley Cup yet. And the Ace haven't won since '89. What am I missing?
Well, how's the Vancouver Blues doing?
Oh, yeah, that too.
Yeah, the Vancouver Blues.
By the way, I made an error. It's not Mark Shapiro who's the general manager of the Indians. It's actually Chris Antoinetti who is the general manager.
Chris
So
Antonetti. Way to go, Isaiah.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I do have to give a shout out, though, to Max Fried because I'll tell you why. This was the biggest game of his life. And he's young. He's never pitched in a big game like this, a closeout game, to say the least. He gets his foot stepped on. I mean, absolutely stepped on. And
I'm very glad he didn't break anything because that was a very ugly play.
Which I thought he did. When it first happened, I'm like, uh-oh, that's not going to be good. He's out. But he got back up, kept pitching, and I mean, probably pitched the best game of his life, of his career. That was absolutely just a absolute phenomenal game. I did say before we came on here, Callan, I was talking to Big B and Chris, and I was mentioning this, and I said, you know what? Max Fried was only at 74 pitches. And Snitker's like, I'm pulling you out in the sixth, and I'm bringing in my lefties and stuff. And I'm sitting there going, you know what? If you're Max Fried, do you kind of be like, no, Snit, I need to go back out there. I need to keep pitching. Like if you're Max Fried,
we're fighting.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Fried, you don't want to come out. You want to sit out there and you want to continue to pitch. You want to pitch. But
Matt, my arm's bothering me or my foot's getting sore because I got stepped on.
Yeah, but
I'm staying in.
Exactly.
Shutout going.
And I completely get it. You know, Matzik came in, pitched well in the 7th and 8th, and then Will Smith came in and shut it down in the 9th. But my question to you, Callan, because Big B agreed with me and Chris agreed with me, do you also agree that if you're Max Fried, you're like, I'm pitching the game of my life here, and this is a closeout game? Do you go to Snit and be like, can I go out there for at least one more inning?
Yeah, I would, but I think that sadly, guys, and I think we know this very well, you know, the numbers roll the roost now. You know, the numbers never lie, that if you go back out there for another inning and you start getting hit, you know, 1 run comes in, 2 runs come in, that, you know, the numbers say, oh, you didn't do it right. I know Isaiah doesn't care about numbers, but just thinking logically, though, about how this new brand of baseball is being played, whether the 4 of us like it or not, this is how the game is going to be played, is that, especially guys, I think in the postseason where everything is magnified, every pitch is magnified by just a bit more because this is the postseason, this is the World Series, and certainly I think with you know the new age of baseball right now is that though you may be throwing well, yeah, you have 74 pitches, yeah, you've been untouchable. It just kind of takes that one little rally to kind of, you know, spoil the moment, and I think that especially in the postseason, they're more magnified than some, you know, no value added game played in May or in June or in April or even in, you know, before the All-Star break. You know, I kind of feel like that baseball gets more ratcheted up after the All-Star break. That's when teams begin to separate or start to fall back to earth. A la the Padres in 2021, they went the wrong direction. But other teams like Atlanta, who were kind of in a way, you know, looking like the stock market, you know, and how the entire NL East was, you know, the NFL. I think that the NFC East and NL East should have had a conversation about, how can we keep sucking because of how bad the NFC East in pro football was last season. Though I call it something else, I won't say it on the air though. But at the same time, is, you know, more so. I mean, if I'm out there, I want to say, you know, can I stay? But I think that we all know that the answer is going to be no, because sadly, guys, these devices right here never lie. And the iPads and the stat sheets say, nope, got to bring in the bullpen because, you know, Altuve's hitting 500 off you on the 4th time around in the order. So thanks, but no thanks. But sadly, though Isaiah doesn't believe it, it's the new age of baseball, and we just have to kind of live with it at this time.
No, I get it. It was definitely the analytics, because when you look at that, you know, he pitched the longest game in the World Series this season, which was 6 innings. No other pitcher in this World Series had gone past 6 innings.
Because every pitcher, and I think we saw it earlier in the series, fellas, that there was one game. I think, Adam, you said that they had pulled a pitcher throwing a no-hitter.
Ian Anderson. Yeah, Ian Anderson got pulled.
Just because, the no-hitter is great, but again, in the postseason, there's no margin for error. Yeah, it would have been great, but the iPads, the score sheets, the sabermetrics gurus say, nope, get him out of the ball game because there's no time to waste.
Yeah, which when they asked Ian Anderson about it, and they're like, hey, did you say anything to Snitker? And right. Ian Anderson said, yes, I did. You know, I went up to Snit and said I would have liked to stay in for another inning because the no-hitter was going. He said, but I understood the move and I understand why he did it. And so I was okay with it because I knew that my guys were going to come out and pick me up. And
there were so many strikeouts, though, in this game, fellas, by both teams. I mean, this was a very rough game to watch, though, minus the offense that the Braves had. But, I mean, it almost looked like every time you turn around, there was a strikeout, you know, and I think that the Braves, though, I don't know the exact number, but it seemed like that there was a couple innings, guys, where I think they K'd the side, and they made a lot of those Houston hitters look absolutely foolish up there. Freed, Matzik, Will Smith, you name it, and they did it, and they got the job done. And certainly, again, I think all the props go to Brian Snitker for, I think, despite all the hurdles, guys, that probably these guys go through with the numbers and stuff, he did an absolutely phenomenal job, though, navigating when to get guys out of there. If there was maybe even just like one leadoff base hit, nope, we're not going to go this route, and we're going to pull these guys. And I think that in a way, guys, Snitker outmanaged Dusty Baker. I think from a second World Series of his career as a manager, guys, Dusty Baker got beat again by a better, smarter manager in my mind when it came to moving the chess pieces around on the game board.
Yep.
Once again.
Yeah, he played it perfectly. And so Dante and Isaiah, you can't forget about this either, because I'm sure everybody on here remembers his comment when Isaiah said the NL over the AAL and call it baby ball. That's what he called the NL, was baby ball. I remember that.
And yet you have a favorite team, quote, end quote, in the National League?
Well,
And
does
you
he have
call
a
it
favorite
baby
team
ball.
in every league?
I'm just saying.
I'm having technical difficulties as we speak.
No, we
What's
can
going
hear
on?
you
No.
and see you just fine.
Isaiah, all I can say is I said Braves in 6.
Well, before
So I'm just saying, there you go.
let me also say this as well.
No.
I need to apologize to Brian Snitker, because when he first got hired, I laughed at the Braves hiring him. I was like, the Braves hired Brian Snitker? Are you kidding me? Who the heck is this guy? You might as well name the guy serving popcorn as your manager, because I was like, really? You going to replace, I believe it was Freddie Gonzalez, right, that he replaced Ace?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was like, you're going to replace Freddie Gonzalez with this no-name guy that's nobody besides the people in the Braves organization have ever heard about. This guy is a bum. He's going to be out of baseball in 3 years. Just mark my words on it. He ain't
Well,
gonna
you're
play.
wrong.
Get ready for another managerial search in the ATL in about 3 or 4 years. And, Brian Snitker, just like Ed Orgeron did with LSU football, he proved me wrong. Because I said the same thing about Ed Orgeron when he got hired at LSU. I was like, this guy's a bum. This guy's not going to make 2-3 years. He's going to be out at LSU. He won a national championship literally a year after I said it. And now Brian Snitker wins the World Series, makes it to the playoffs a couple of years after I said those words, and he has really established himself as a tremendous manager in baseball. I got to give him props. I got to give him props. He was better than I originally expected for him. He is not a bum. I'm sorry for calling him a bum, and sorry for calling him a scrub, and I'm sorry for saying he's going to be fired in the next 3 to 4 years after he got hired. He's a tremendous manager, and if he ever became available, come on down to Oaktown.
You know what, though?
Isaiah loses again. Isaiah loses again.
He had been pitching. He had been pitching, or not pitching. He had been coaching in the Atlanta organization for 40+ years. So I think he knew a little bit about the organization and what was going on. That's why do you think they named him as manager of Atlanta? He'd been there for 40+ years, man. He knew the organization inside and out. So if there was a guy for the job, it was definitely him, because Freddie Gonzalez was an absolute joke. Like, that was a joke of a hiring. So I don't know why they did that, but that was definitely there. And
wasn't Ron Washington the other guy that was going head to head with him for that job, if I'm not mistaken?
No,
Yeah.
He was trying to get the job in San Diego too, though.
Yeah, but
he wanted Washington, if I remember correctly.
he was trying to get the job for Atlanta though too, but they gave it to Snitker, which was the right call. But yes, Lowro's here, so Lowro, we can get your takeaway on Game 6 of the World Series.
Just wanted to hop on because I saw that you guys were on, and I wanted to give you guys my take here. I thought that the Braves started this game on a good note. Jorge Soler's home run went over the train tracks. That kind
Out
of was
of the ballpark, nonetheless. Out of the ballpark.
It was out of the ballpark, Kellen. Are you kidding me? That ball
Way gone. Onto the street.
It went onto the streets of Houston because of how well that Jorge Soler even swung that baseball. And I also want to say here that I think that the Braves are I think that the Braves are in a good position to compete next year, but I just thought that Max Fried pitched well. Freddie Freeman hit a home run. There's no way he's leaving the Braves. And I also thought that Will Smith closing the deal was an exclamation point to the Braves season. And Adam, you know that I'm a Dodger fan, and I'll tell you what, Ace, congrats on your Braves winning the World Series. I can't wait for when my Dodgers play you again in the regular season.
All right. So thank you for coming on and congratulating. It's great to hear this. This started out as kind of like a major roast of Isaiah because of everything he had been saying. So it was definitely a major roast to him. But you know what? 2021 baseball season is officially over. We're all looking forward to next season. I think Callan's actually pretty excited about, the hiring of Bob Melvin there. So I think he was pretty excited about that one. And Big B, I guess we're gonna have to see what your Minnesota Twins do.
Oh, I heard we're gonna hire Isaiah as our media personnel. He's gonna go through all the coaches and tell them how to coach, and then fire them all.
Yeah.
Name myself as manager, and then when the GM hands me the analytics sheet, this is what I'm doing to it.
Just like the Phillies and A's seasons next year. Way to go, Isaiah.
Did you guys happen to see the post going around on Facebook that Trevor Plouffe called the World Series back in March 31st? Braves Houston in 6.
Did he?
Braves over Houston.
Where's the crystal ball? And I need to figure out who's going to win it next year.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Isaiah, he knows.
If we get a season, though, is the only thing.
Yeah.
I think we will. I think we'll definitely be okay here. I'm just super excited, Isaiah. You cannot take this away from me. So you can take your little Philadelphia Phillies and go the other direction with them because they are officially done. Atlanta owns the NL East. I'm just saying we own it until further notice. So that's all I'm saying.
And the NL is not baby ball either, Mr. Leung. It's been around since 1876. So
watch out for my Dodgers next year, folks.
Well, here's a question for Adam, and kind of Tim brings it up with Acuna Jr. being out and coming back. What are they going to do with that outfield?
We're going to keep him because Soler is actually a free agent after this season. Eddie Rosario's a free agent. Jock Peterson's a free agent. I don't see us bringing back Jock Peterson. We could potentially try and sign Soler. I could see that. I could see them actually trying to sign him. Duvall is going to be a free agent also. So I'm looking at this going, I think there's a few guys that they could try and sign, which if anything, I could see them potentially trying to sign Eddie Rosario and Jorge Soler. I could see that. Other than that, Acuna is going to be out there. He's going to be out there just like every other time. Acuna is not going anywhere, but it's just.
No, I knew it wasn't, but I know
yeah.
you guys got some, new outfielders this year. I was just wondering what you thought the outfield might look like next year.
Yeah, I think if anything, we're going to try and sign Rosario and Soler, which I would be okay if they went after Duvall too and did
especially after the
rotation.
Rosario had, though, it's almost like how do you not re-sign him?
Yeah.
Exactly. And everyone's talking about how Freddie Freeman is a free agent. I'm like, guys, he's not going anywhere.
No.
There's no way that Atlanta's going to let him walk. There's no way. Atlanta's going to talk to Freddie and be like, you tell me what you want, and we will try and work this out.
They're going to make it work out.
Yeah, right?
They're not going to try. They're going to make it work out. Is what I'm saying here. Because
Freddie's the face of that franchise. Between him and Acuna.
Way, absolutely.
Yeah. It's like Matt Forte leaving the Bears for the Jets.
What?
You don't let a franchise walk like that.
That's not even close. That's not even a close comparison, man.
Wait. Did he just say Matt Forte of the Jets?
Yeah.
He called Matt Forte the face of the Bears franchise too? No.
Yeah.
No,
that would be like Mike Trout leaving the Angels. That's what that would be more like, because Mike Trout is the face of the Angels. That would be like Fernando Tatis Jr. leaving the Padres because he's the face of the Padres.
It's just he wants it to happen, just because he wants to. So there you go.
Oh yeah, he definitely wants it to happen. But before we go ahead and call it, we'll go ahead and give our final thoughts. So Big B, I'll start with you. Final thoughts of the World Series.
Congratulations to the Braves. 25 years to the day since they won their last World Series. I believe that's what the stat was. Trevor Plouffe called it back in March. He said Braves over Houston in 6. I don't know how he thought that, but anyways, Ace, congrats to you and all the Braves fans out there. Can't wait for next baseball season. Hopefully they work out all their issues.
And then we'll go to the man who can never, ever talk trash again because it has come back to bite him in the butt every single time. And that is Isaiah loses again, Isaiah Leong. So you go ahead and take it again and never, ever, ever talk trash again.
Final thoughts is thank you to all the fans watching this show. Ace, congratulations on your Braves winning the World Series. Shri, you too. I want to address this comment from Dante, if we could pull it up, about the A's having a fire sale after Bob Melvin's departure. This is exactly why, and Ace, I'm so glad that you didn't go to me and was like, how about your A's for next season?
Because we're not making this about the A's. This isn't about the A's.
I know.
That's what I'm saying.
This is exactly why next year or in December, I'm going to take 50 sleeping pills and hope to hibernate my way by the baseball season, because I am not looking forward.
Yeah.
I love it. I absolutely love it.
Exactly. So, Callan, any final thoughts for you?
Again, congrats to Atlanta and the suffering sports fans down there. First World Series in 25 years. Like I always say, those small market guys minus square three have to stick together. And those who have been, it's a heck and back, though, with their teams letting them down, though. And certainly, the Braves, like I said, Freddie Freeman, the great story of him battling COVID and him coming back to playing at a high caliber level, and how the Braves got that whole outfield back on track, though. And, another baseball season in the books. And, obviously, I always get a little sad when baseball season ends, though, with how much I, love the game, played the game, broadcast the game, or called the game, you name it. But at least, with the Padres, I think they got the right guy in Bob Melvin, 3-year deals, always have liked Bob, even pre his time in Oakland with the Diamondbacks, back when he managed the D-backs for those several years. I think that they got their guy. Now it's on them to go out there and fix go out there and fill all those holes that they had over the season last year. And hopefully that will be able to at least get a season next year. But again, thanks to everyone who tuned in, and congrats again to the Braves. And again, Isaiah loses again. Like fifth time in past several months he's lost.
And Loro, any final thoughts for you?
All I got to say is congratulations to the Atlanta Braves and to all their fans in Atlanta. They are due for a major championship in the city of Atlanta and Georgia. I'm looking forward to seeing my LA Dodgers win the World Series in 2022. We're going to keep Max Scherzer. We're going to keep Corey Seager, Clayton Kershaw, and Kenley Jansen and Chris Taylor. I expect this whole band to be back together in 2022, folks. And also, the Universal DH, I expect it to be coming to the National League, and that will have a new CBA before December 1st, my friends.
All right. So I want to thank everybody for hopping on. It feels so good right now to see a championship after this long. And being an Atlanta Braves fan, it just feels so good. I was so ecstatic watching that third out when Dansby threw it.
I'm shocked you didn't get up and run around the block for a few minutes.
You know what? I was going to, but the wife was like, that would be overkill. And I'm like, it can never be overkill when you take a world title home. So I'm just saying, it feels so good. I'm so pumped. I got to go out and buy me a whole bunch of gear now.
You better.
World championship gear. I definitely have to do it.
You have to.
Can I pose a question to Square 3 real quick?
Yeah.
Mr. Leong.
What's up?
Are you listening?
Yes, I am.
Tell me the year San Diego last won a major professional sports championship in baseball or football.
1967, when Dwight D. Eisenhower was president. There
No.
you go. Nailed it.
No, 1963 when JFK was president. I don't want to hear any more from you about not winning championships, sir.
He got you there, Isaiah. He got you there.
Isaiah loses again. Isaiah
right.
loses again.
So with that, I want to thank everybody for watching. It was a great World Series, and then now we'll see baseball again, hopefully in 2022. So everybody
March
have a
31st,
great
let's
time,
go.
and we'll see you guys next time. Have a great night.
Isaiah loses again.